Hello everyone, this is part 5 of What If Naruto was actually helped by the third Hokage, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to share, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Join my membership, the perks are great. It's in the description. The next day came quickly for Naruto. With first light, the group returned to the boat and made the trip home. It was lively with Hibi talking non-stop about all of the dango she was going to eat and Nico talking about spending time with Hayate. Jiraiya wouldn't stop giggling, drooling and repeating Tsunde's name. Kuma remained as silent as ever and Kakashi had Ika wherever he went, so no issues there. Before he knew it, the gates of Konoha came into view and he was reporting into the Hokage. Kitsune asked the Hokage to clear the room and then threw up a privacy seal. He then recounted the trip in its entirety. He had his camera that he picked up on the way back ready. When he was done recounting everything about the Shinigami, he snapped a picture of the Hokage. Hiruzen was so gobsmacked that he didn't even notice the click, or the giggles that followed it. He then told him about the Uzumaki clan library he found. He promised to keep him updated when it came to anything that could benefit Konoha. That is quite the tale, Kitsune-kun. Without your teammates here, I would be having difficulty believing any of it. Now, onto something more serious. Kitsune and Inu, please step forward and remove your masks. Gasps went out from Team Ro. If an active duty Anbu was asked to remove their masks, it meant that they were being relieved from duty. It was Inu that spoke up. Hokage-sama. Did we do something to offend you? No, nothing of the sort, Kakashi. You have been in the Corps for too long and it is time for Naruto-kun to step into the light. At this, Anko stepped forward and removed her mask. If Kakashi and the Gaki are going, so am I. I have been talking to Ibiki about taking up a role in T&I and this feels like my cue. Anko said while respectfully bowing to the Hokage. Very well, Anko-chan. I am sure Ibiki will be glad to have you. I will approve the transfer as soon as it hits my desk. Now, Kakashi and Naruto-kun. I will have Naruto-kun attend the last couple of months at the academy and then you will be his Jonin-sensei Kakashi. Hokage-sama, any chance I could refuse? I love working with Naruto, but I am not cut out to teach brats and babysit them. Naruto chimed in, Hokage-sama, do I really have to go to the academy? I can run circles around the instructors there with my level 4 gravity seals activated. This brought laughter to the whole room, including Hiruzen. I have no doubt you could, Naruto-kun. See this as an opportunity to spend time with your friends. You will be attending as Naruto Uzumaki, for the time being. At the upcoming Chunin exams, we will announce your heritage. Kakashi will be your Jonin sensei because I want you to have reliable backup if any missions go pear-shaped. Are you sure, Hokage-sama? The way I see it, Kakashi Taku is just going to freeload off me. No doubt about it. Another round of laughter followed this statement and left Kakashi rubbing the back of his head. Nothing he could really say against that. Will my Genin teammates be aware of my capabilities? Will they know I was in Anbu? Yes, Naruto-kun, I am sure. To your second question, regretfully, you will not be able to tell your Genin team. I don't want too much information about you getting out before the Chunin exams. I have thought this out and talked to all necessary parties. One last thing that I wish to say to Team Ro. The Hokage stood up and bowed gracefully, thank you for your outstanding service. Team Ro bowed in return and departed from the Hokage's office for the last time as a team. That night, they went to the bar as a team and ate and drank together for Ro's last hurrah. Nachiro used his QB-enhanced henge to age himself to look 18, he didn't want people seeing a kid in the bar. He didn't feel like fielding all of the questions that would follow. The night was a smashing success and Naruto had his first ever makeout session. It all started when a tipsy Naruto stood up from the table and asked Anko to dance. He went over to the karaoke machine, slotted in a coin and played, Crazy Bitch. After a wild dance, accompanied by hoots and hollers from other Jonin in the bar, Naruto dipped Anko at the end of the song. When their eyes met, she gave him the go-ahead. He planted a confident, yet inexperienced kiss, on the purple-haired snake mistress. When Naruto stood her back up, He saw her flush and he regained eye contact with her. After a meaningful look, he pulled the hem of her collar down and planted a kiss on the cursed seal. Then a kiss to the nape of her neck. Finally, he whispered in her ear, "I will remove this tainted fucking seal from your perfection. I give you my word, and as you know, I never go back on my word." It was at this point that Anko hopped into the transformed blonde's arms, wrapped her legs around his waist and began a heated make-out session. If Yugao didn't drag a very drunk Anko home that night, kicking and crying out to Naruto-kun, then Naruto most definitely would have become a man that night. Academy days. Naruto didn't like the feeling of walking through the village streets in broad daylight. His Anbu instinct screamed at him to get back up on the rooftops and use the shinobi highway. However, the Hokage asked him to maintain a low public profile for the time being. Naruto had been going to the academy for the past 2 months. He had to admit that it was nice being able to catch up with his old friends. Anbu life didn't exactly leave him with a whole lot of free time. Walking down the streets to the academy, Naruto kept chuckling as he thought back to his first day in class. Flashback 2 months ago. Naruto was waiting outside the classroom door for the instructor, Iruka, to call him in. He could feel the wild range of emotions that the children of the academy let out in droves. It was overwhelming after pretty much living at Anbu HQ, where everyone was trained to keep their emotions, and therefore chakra fluctuations, in check. He heard Iruka call for him to enter, so he opened the door and walked through. There were nearly 30 kids seated in the classroom, not even one of them registered as a threat. Sasuke had the largest chakra pool, but it was only 1/100th of his own. Naruto gave him a slight nod as he entered and walked across the front of the classroom. When Naruto planted himself squarely in the middle of the chalkboard, he turned to the class. "I know some of you already know me. To you guys, I say, sup, long time no see. To the rest of you, I am Naruto Uzumaki. It is a pleasure to meet you," he said in a confident tone that made multiple high-pitched squeals come from the room. Iruka took over from there. "Very good, Naruto. Why don't you find an empty seat?" Naruto walked to the back of the classroom and sat down next to Hinata. He squeezed her shoulder and mouthed, "Heya," which got a brilliant blush out of the shy girl. Naruto sat down next to her and immediately went to chill with Kurama in his mindscape. Hinata couldn't believe it. She hadn't spent much time with Naruto since their training sessions ended nearly 3 years ago. She looked up to him so much, he filled her with so much confidence. It was because of Naruto that Hinata was the top kunoichi of the class. She kept sneaking glances over at the blonde, but he just stayed unmoving with his eyes fixed on the chalkboard. She would have to work up the confidence to talk to him more later. Ino was so excited that her Ruto was in her class. That meant she would be able to be a genin with him. "I might even get to be on Ruto's genin team." She shrieked in happiness and hoped within her mind. She had missed him so much. He seemed to get more distant over the years, but every time they were together, it was like the time apart never happened. They always picked up right where they left off when he would spend time with her on the increasingly sparse weekends. Now, he was here. And he is sitting next to Hinata. She couldn't help the fit of jealousy that struck her. "I will talk to him at lunch," she thought determinedly. Naruto just kicked it with Q until he felt the class beginning to move. He exited his mindscape and followed the flow of children out onto the training field. Ino ran up and grabbed his arm and walked with him out onto the training grounds. Naruto loved Ino's possessive side. Constantly being around horny Anbu meant that Naruto could pick up on flirty behavior. Not to mention the pheromones that he could sense behind Ino's sweet lavender perfume. Iruka called out to Naruto and broke him from his thoughts. "All right, Naruto. Why don't we see where you are at in taijutsu? Mizuki here will be your sparring partner." Hi, sensei," chimed out an amused Naruto as he walked into the center of the ring. "Hey, Q. How should I handle this?" thought an amused Naruto. "You do you, Kit. My container doesn't lose, and I don't like the feeling of that guy. I think I will keep the gravity seals on then. Set him to level 5 should put me around Chunin speed. Do I play with him a bit or just knock him the fuck out?" Kurama couldn't help but chuckle at this. "Why don't you put on a show for your classmates, Kit? And then end it with a bang." Kurama's chuckle turned into howls of laughter at what happened next. Mizuki hated being a teacher. He could be so much more, and they stick him with a bunch of brats. So, what if he failed a couple missions and his teammates died? He did that on purpose in order to help his master. Now he must fight a kid, this cocky little bastard at that. Mizuki's face morphed into a smirk. I think I will play with him for a bit, then hit him just a bit too hard to vent some of my frustrations. Thought a fucked in the head Chunin bully. When Iruka started the fight, Naruto stood there with his hands in his pockets. Do you not know a taijutsu style, Naruto? Asked a bewildered Mizuki. Oh, I know plenty. I just don't need 'em to deal with someone of your caliber. Step 1. Piss him off, great success. An enraged Mizuki charged at Naruto at Chunin speed and attempted an easily dodged straight punch. Mizuki swerved into a roundhouse kick and found himself looking at the sky. Naruto had done a small, yet swift, leg sweep that took out Mizuki's plant leg. Step 2. Humiliate him. Mizuki hopped back to his feet and threw a flurry of strikes at Naruto. The blonde, with his hands still in his pockets, nimbly dodged, ducked, dipped, dived and dodged out of the way of Mizuki's strikes. Iruka's interest instantly changed to terror when Mizuki whipped out a kunai in a blind fit of rage. Naruto ignored the gasps from the students and the shouts from Iruka to stop. Step 3. Find a way to justify excessive force. Plan complete. Naruto launched forward and planted his shoulder into Mizuki's solar plexus. He followed that with a 1-2 uppercut combo and sent Mizuki flying into the air. Naruto then jumped, twisted and planted a straight kick into Mizuki's face. The Chunin flew about 20 feet and crumpled to the ground unconscious. Iruka dismissed class for the day and rushed Mizuki to the hospital. The whole class stood in a stunned silence until Naruto asked in a casual tone, "Ichiraku's, anyone?" He then led most of the class to Tsuki's restaurant. After collecting the money for his demon prankster mission, Naruto had loaned Tsuki 200,000 ryo, interest-free, in exchange for 20% ownership of Ichiraku's. So, when Naruto showed up with most of the class, minus Sasuke, Sakura and a couple other fan club girls, Tsuki was ecstatic. It was great catching up with his friends over a casual 10 extra large bowls of ramen. Mizuki had to formally apologize to the class the next day. It was brilliant. Kurama couldn't have done it better himself. He set the memory on replay for the rest of the week and Naruto was forced to mute him to escape his laughter. End of flashback. A morning greeting and the scent of lilacs broke Naruto from his musings. The beautiful smile and shiny blonde hair were worth it though. He continued to casually chat with Ino until they walked into the classroom. Naruto sat down next to Hinata and Ino. Chuji and Shika showed up a bit later, followed by Kiba. He returned the greetings and asked, "Hey, Kiba, how is the clan enjoying those silencing seals? And thank your mom for training me, will ya?" A big grin spread across Kiba's face. "Sure thing, Naruto. Ka-chan asked to have you over for dinner tonight. She said just got back from a long hunt and you would know what that means. Yeah, she wants another free massage. Sure, I will be by for dinner. Tell your mom the price is a bag of your best jerky. I am sure she will agree." Confusion crossed Kiba's face, which then turned to a scowl. "You better not be doing anything with my mom, Uzumaki." Naruto held his hands up. "Hey, don't look at me. I just give her massages. It's my Uncle Q that you have to worry about." Kiba's scowl deepened. Kiba fancied himself an alpha. So, when his mom started dating Kurama and Q put Kiba in his place with his bestial dominance, it left Kiba with a wounded ego. It didn't matter that his mom was far happier than he had seen her in a long time. What bothered Kiba was that his mom insisted on not using privacy seals. She wanted to make a point to the clan that she had found a mate, and Q was more than happy to help her make that point. Side note, whenever Q dispelled his clone and returned to the seal, Naruto got the memories just like a normal shadow clone. That is why he was constantly blushing around the feral woman. "Haha, Kit. Go easy on the pup. I still have a lot of unfinished business with Soom," chuckled out a highly amused Kurama. The rest of the day passed without much significance. The negative emotions coming from Mizuki were far more intense, but Naruto would deal with that eventually if he must. He left the academy with his group of friends and spent some time in the park just shooting the shit. Around dinner time he walked to the Inuzuka compound with Kiba. Naruto had to listen to Kiba complain about Q the whole way. He had no way of knowing that Naruto has first-hand knowledge of all the times Q had given Kiba shit. Naruto had asked Kurama to take it a little easier on the poor mutt, but Q insisted that it would be good for him in the long run. When they walked into the Inuzuka house, Tsume brought Naruto into a big hug. Naruto couldn't stop the blush that came from all the first-person view memories of Q rutting with her. She had known Naruto for years, since he was 6 if he remembered that right. She had given him some basic lessons on tracking and helped him learn to track and discern scents. She knew of his tenant, so she wasn't surprised when Naruto told her about his enhanced nose and all the problems that it gave him. It was thanks to Tsume that Naruto could tone down the potency of smells, which was awesome when he was hanging out with Kiba. That kid really hated taking baths. Dinner was always a rowdy affair with Kiba, Tsume and Hana, in large part to Kiba's inability to keep his mouth shut. Hana was talking about her mission that she had joined Tsume on. Evidently, some Chunin had broken into the vacant Senju compound again and tried to steal some scrolls from their vault. When the alarm went off, the Chunin bolted and fled the village. The downside of being an Inuzuka was that they were almost always recruited for tracking missions. Her mom had pulled her for this mission, and it ended with Hana getting her first ninja kill. She had killed bandits before, but she had never killed a ninja, much less a Konoha shinobi. Naruto gave her a massage to help her deal with her nerves, which made Tsume jealous. Naruto summoned a shadow clone to take care of the feral clan head. He really came to appreciate the rowdy and straightforward behavior of the Inuzuka clan. Exposed. Night broke over Kumogakure with the usual bustle and shining of storefront lights. In a civilian bar, 3 people were having a whispered conversation. The 3 were Mizuki, Mibuyuki Haruno, representative of the Civilian Council, and Akui Zankoku, chairman of the Merchants Guild in Konoha. After Mizuki told him of Naruto's strength, Mibuyuki told him it was because Naruto was the Kyuubi. Mizuki didn't bother double-checking this, he already hated the brat, so he went along with the conversation. Akui spoke up, the boy has far too much influence. He has already bought into a weapons shop and a restaurant, and he is only 12. Not to mention the whole Shinobi Council has placed the demon under their protection. That demon killed my husband, I will not allow it to spread its demonic influence through the rest of the village. Something must be done, Mibuyuki said quite passionately. Mizuki chimed in, if he is indeed the Kyuubi, and he is protected by the Shinobi Council, then you will need to secure help from outside the village. Maybe someone like Orochimaru. Akui hissed, do not say that traitor's name in public. I hate the demon, but I will not associate with the snake traitor. This comment earned a scowl from Mizuki. A devious smile lit upon Mibuyuki's face, we won't have to hire anybody. We will just leak information. The demon possessed the child of the Yondaime. We can spread this information and make it seem like Iwa found it out naturally. Mizuki's smile exploded on his face, he is the son of the Yondaime. That is hard to believe. I bet that the demon deceived the old monkey. I have some contacts that can spread the rumor. However, won't that make the boy more popular in Konoha? Akui answered in a self-assured manner, popularity won't matter when the demon is dead. Let's use this. Remember that it can never be traced back to us. Mizuki, you're on your own if this leads back to you. Mizuki smirked, don't worry, counselor. I can handle myself. I just want the demon dead once and for all. 2 weeks later, 2 weeks before Naruto's graduation, Jiraiya burst through the Hokage's window. After waving an apology to the Anbu guard and Hokage, he spoke in a rush. Sensei, I don't know how it got out, but it did. Multiple contacts have been fed information that the 4th Hokage sealed the Kyuubi into his son, Naruto Uzumaki. I have heard this from multiple contacts, and it seems the information will make it to Iwa any day now. Hiruzen groaned, let out a long sigh and then retrieved his pipe. We knew this day would come, Jiraiya. This is just a little sooner than expected. Lion, please retrieve Naruto from the academy and bring Tsunade and Tsubaki as well. 15 minutes later, the necessary parties were assembled, and the Anbu guard was dismissed. Naruto let Q out to join the conversation. After listening to the Hokage, Naruto spoke. Don't worry, Gigi. I have been thinking about this a lot. My clan asked me to be better than the previous generation. I don't want the bad blood between us, Kumo and Iwa to affect my home. I want to be the bridge to peace. This doesn't bother me, but how about instead of waiting for them to react, we get ahead of it? Like we did with Kumo. Those in attendance couldn't help but be impressed by the young man in front of them. He stayed calm and accepted the danger associated with news like this without breaking a sweat. I think you might be right, Naruto-kun. I had planned on sending out invites to Iwa and Kumo for the upcoming Chunin exams. Maybe we could slip in a message with that. Sighed out Hiruzen. Naruto looked at Q, then back to the Hokage. Gigi, I have an idea. Why don't I be the messenger? I would like to deliver a message to both villages, and I think they should meet Q. This received incredulous looks from all in attendance. It was Jiraiya that broke first. Gaki, you can't be serious. Both of those villages want your head. Naruto raised a hand to Jiraiya, made a hang sign and slapped a stabilizing seal on the back of his clone. With his point made, Naruto continued, I want to get ahead of this news. For both villages, I want to write a letter explaining myself and offering peace. As I said, I want to be the bridge. The best part is that I won't ever have to leave the academy. I will overload some clones with Q and head there myself. The worst that can happen is the shadow clone is popped a bit early. Even then, we would have their response. Gobsmackage. Naruto was proud of his ability to surprise others. He quickly took pictures of each face to add to his collection. After Jiraiya coughed from a fly forcing its way into his mouth, the conversation resumed. That is a most interesting idea, Naruto-kun. Hiruzen looked around the room and got hesitant nods from those in attendance. Will your clones be able to make it there? That is much longer than I have ever heard of a shadow clone lasting. Hi, Hokage Shiji. When I infuse some of Q's chakra into them and slap a stabilizing seal on them, they can last up to 2 weeks. Although the backlash gets pretty severe. Hiruzen marveled at the resource he now had at his disposal. What do you wish to write in your letters, Naruto-kun? One letter will be to the Kages, since both of them have unfinished business with my parents. I will do my best to defuse the situation. I request your permission to enter the CRA and use that to make a marriage proposal from Iwa and Kumo, Gigi. Gobsmacked again, successful 2-hit combo, complete. Tsunade stuttered out. Marriage. CRA. What in the actual fuck, brat? Tsunade's confusion turned into a feminine rage. You think you can just take girls without their consent, do you, brat? Naruto was shaking his head negatively behind a daydreaming Jiraiya. Jiraiya knew this kid was gold. He heard about the incident with Anko, he heard about the affections of the Yamanaka, and he had seen the Hyuga following Naruto around once or twice since he went to the academy. If only he were a toad summoner, then he would be the perfect godson. Jiraiya was forcibly brought out of his musings by a frustrated Tsunade's fist. She was tired on chasing the brat around this obstacle, so she removed the obstacle. A panicked Naruto begged Tsunade to let him explain, with his hands in the air. Bachan, wait. Please, hear me out. The key in the room fell marginally, so he continued, my second letter is a letter to whatever girl they may choose. I will introduce myself, explain my situation and my completely pure motives. I will be upfront, honest, and I will only marry a girl I love, and her me in return. I want to bring the nations together, but I will not force anybody into a loveless marriage. I need the CRA to bring back my clans. I will need multiple wives to do that. He stopped, took a deep breath, smirked, and continued. Besides, Bachan, is there anyone else that could spoil multiple women the way I do? He finished his point by forming his signature hand sign. Just how much thought have you put into this, brat? Replied a much calmer Tsunade. A lot, Bachan. You have seen my clone debates. Well, after reading my dad's journal and visiting mom's ancestral home, we had a 10-clone debate that lasted 3 days. Gaki, you're telling me those 3 days you were locked in the study were used so you could talk to yourself? Asked a highly amused Jiraiya. Yup. Q was spending the weekend with Sum, so I used that time to think up some possible solutions. Never thought that I would have to use them this soon though. Gigi, while my clones deliver these messages, you should investigate who let this leak. Whoever let this leak knew that I hold Q in me, and they knew who my parents were. That should be a pretty short list of people. Hiruzen's chuckling died out as her heard Naruto finish. Right you are, Naruto-kun. I think Kakashi was looking for something to do. I will put him on it. As for your plan, let me draft a letter and have your clones ready to leave tomorrow. When they return with the responses, we will have to talk to the council for final approval. Hi, Gigi. I will get ready. Iwagakure no Sato. Naruto Clone 1 in his Kitsune mask, dubbed Ruto for this chapter, and Q traversed through the mountain ranges of Iwa. They were halfway through their second day of travel when they were halted by an Iwa patrol, which was extremely wary of Ruto in his Kitsune mask. Kitsune had become an internationally known mask over the last 2 years, and he had earned a fierce reputation. After a tense exchange and showing the scroll with the Hokage's seal, the patrol escorted Ruto and Q into Iwa and into the Tsuchikage's waiting room. After 15 minutes or so, he was called into the Tsuchikage's office. Onoki had heard of Kitsune. He had even been aware of some of his missions over the past 2 years. That is why he was surprised when a 5 feet 4 inch tall boy in a Kitsune mask stood in front of him with an imposing Q standing behind him. Good afternoon, Tsuchikage-sama. I am Kitsune, this is Q, and we have been tasked to deliver 3 messages to you. I request permission to take out the scrolls and to remove my mask, said a boyish voice in a very mature tone. The Tsuchikage hesitated. Why on earth would Hiruzen send an Anbu here and have it unmask itself? He wanted to see how this played out, so he gave a slight nod to Kitsune and kept an eye on Q. When the boy removed his mask, Onoki vaulted out of his chair and pointed a finger at Ruto from just over his desk. He then cried out in pain as he tweaked his back. You, who are you? I heard a rumor about you yesterday, but I will have my answers now, bellowed a confused and irrational Onoki. Ruto gave a slight bow. I am Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, this is my partner Q, the Kyubi no Kitsune. We have come in good faith to offer you a chance for peace. For too long have ancient grudges wreaked havoc among our people. Your attack on the Uzumaki, my father's destruction of your forces and the petty squabbles that have continued since. I come in good faith to break this cycle of hatred. I have written out all of my reasons in this letter to you, Tsuchikage-sama. Naruto could feel the ki radiating off the golem guards in the room. Golem is Iwa's Anbu. The Tsuchikage's outrage turned into a bizarre sort of respect. This young boy, the son of Iwa's proclaimed greatest enemy, walked willingly to his office without a trace of fear. Then he claims that his partner, standing next to him is the Kyubi. Wait, the Kyubi. Onoki's realization and subsequent battle-ready stance were the cue the golem guards had been waiting for. They surrounded the pair and held all forms of pointy objects at kill points on the two. The pair never moved a muscle. They sat there, looking amused at the Tsuchikage. You better have a good reason for bringing the Kyubi into my village, boy. This could be seen as an act of war. You have 1 minute to save your own life, so speak. Tsuchikage-sama, I carry Q with me everywhere I go. Him and I are bound by the Shinigami. I brought him here in this form as a demonstration of my strength, resolve and most importantly my sincerity. I wish to be the bridge to peace. I have come to deliver the invitation to Konoha's Chunin exams, a letter from me to you and finally, if you approve of my offer, a letter for a woman of good standing in Iwa that would be willing to let me court her. Replied the blonde in an even and calm tone. Gobsmack struck again. I count 5 jaws hitting the floor. It took Onoki over a minute to snap out of his stupor and return to his seat. As he did so, the golem guards withdrew their weapons. You are young, boy, however, I find your boldness intriguing. That look in your eyes is just like your father's. A honky let out a deep sigh before continuing. Truth be told, Iwa and Konoha were to begin peace talk a couple of months before the Kyubi there attacked your village. Tell me, will you be participating in the Chunin exams? I don't see a Hishiate on you. Hi, Tsuchikage-sama. Due to my unique heritage and tenant, I was kept in the shadows for most of my life. Kitsune is no more and cannot be linked to me. I am currently finishing at the academy where I will join a normal genin squad and start my career. I assure you, there will be heavy restrictions placed on me in the Chunin exams. I promise that I will not personally kill any personnel you are willing to send. I know there is a significant and difficult to overlook history between our villages and clans. What I humbly ask for, Tsuchikage-sama, is the chance to demonstrate my sincerity and resolve. Onoki couldn't stop a begrudging respect from growing roots in his chest. For your response, I will accept the invitation to the Chunin exams. We will send a messenger hawk with the teams and names. For your request for peace, I will read your letter and give you my response should you make it to the finals of the Chunin exams. For your third request, I must talk about it with my council. I would not expect a prompt answer on this. In return, I ask you to tell me on thing. After a nod from Ruto, he continues, why do this? A small smile flickered across Ruto's face. Tsuchikage-sama, I recently visited Iwagakure and received the final request left by my mother's clan. I have read the journals of both of my parents. The one goal that I embrace is guiding the shinobi world to peace. I want to create a world where my future grandchildren can flourish without the threat of death looming over them. I want to unite the nations, not under one banner, but under a common goal. I want to bring as much happiness as I can to as many people as I can. One of your esteemed age and experience can surely understand that desire. For the debts and grudges of the past to be settled, I will become a leader of unrivaled strength that will light up a better path. Of this, I give you my word, Tsuchikage. And I never go back on my word. Onoki saw Q nodding his head proudly at the bold declaration of this boy. He couldn't help but feel the same. Tell me, Naruto, how did one so young gain so much wisdom? I have never seen a boy carry himself the way you have. Ruto scratched the back of his head sheepishly. I had a lot of people invest their time into me. I fostered a relationship with one of the most ancient and powerful beings in existence. The QB was now nodding its head enthusiastically with an aura of pride radiating off it. But mainly, I was taught etiquette by the Hyuga. Ruto finished with a sheepish chuckle. Onoki stood up and walked to the boy. Very well, Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze. I, Onoki of both scales, the fence-sitter of Iwa and the third Tsuchikage of Iwagakure no Sato, promise that I will consider your offer of alliance. I will deliver my answer to you at the Chunin exams. I will be watching you. Do tell that old monkey, well played, from the Tsuchikage. As he said this, he reached out his hand for a handshake, which Naruto confidently returned. After that, Ruto and Q departed from Iwa, leaving an old man with a lot to think about. Onoki moaned when he thought about the response of the council. There will be many that will vehemently oppose this. I hope you are ready, my boy. You just made a statement to the world. Onoki would remain trapped in his thoughts until his raucous granddaughter forcibly extracted him a few hours later. Once they were out of Iwa, Ruto and Q dispelled since they didn't have a solid message to return with. In the academy, immediately following Ruto dispelling, Naruto screamed out in shock and pain as the memories suddenly hit him and then his head hit the desk. Everyone was concerned, but Ino and Hinata were spazzing out. Iruka let Mizuki take over the lesson and took Naruto to the school nurse's office. He also sent a teacher to inform the Hokage what happened. When Hiruzen showed up with Tsunade, they found Naruto munching on some cookies from the nurse's office and in perfect health. He informed them that it was just his clone he sent to Iwa dispelling when he was unprepared for it. Kumogakure no Sato. I, the fourth Raikage of Kumo, was an immensely proud and terrifying man that rarely, if ever, wore a shirt. He was 6 feet 1 inch with slicked back blonde hair that went down to the base of his neck. His broad shoulders and ripped chest emanated power. The 8-pack could be seen peeking over what looked like a golden prize fighter's belt. This belt was a award to those that took down the Gyuki when it rampaged. He wore 3 massive arm braces on each wrist that weighed 100 pounds each. In short, I was a beast of a man. I was in the middle of talking to Killer Bee and Yugito when a squad of Bolt appeared in front of him. Raikage-sama, we have apprehended 2 ninja that are bearing a scroll with the seal of the Hokage. Well, let's see them then, replied I in an almost bored tone. When Naruto Clone 2 wearing the Kitsune mask, dubbed Naru for this chapter, and Q walked through the door, Killer Bee and Yugito jumped in front of the Raikage and assumed defensive postures. Yugito, B, what is the meaning of this? Demanded I. You should be asking him, Raikage-sama. That boy is the Jinchuriki of the QB. Said Yugito preparing for a fight. Easy, Matatabi and Gyuki, we do not seek a fight. Said Kurama in a bored tone. My Kit here just wishes to speak with you and your Raikage. Quite lucky, Kit, 2 of those you seek are right in front of you. This got incredulous reactions from B and Yugito. Nobody should know their partners' names. Naru held his hands up in the universal sign for, I come in peace. With an even tone, Naru spoke. Raikage-sama, I am going to remove my mask and bring out 3 scrolls. I am here in good faith and wish to discuss some things with you. I replied, why would you reveal your identity, Kitsune? You are a well-known Anbu operative. Naru chuckled, this is the last act of Kitsune, Raikage-sama. He is to come out of the shadow and into the light. You will see why my identity is relevant if you give me permission. Now I was intrigued. He towered over the boy, in every sense. Yet the calm aura the boy was radiated made him want to listen. Not an easy task, ask the repair crew that is constantly fixing his office walls. Very well, Kitsune. Let's see what you have to show me. Naru's posture relaxed, he slowly moved his hand to his face and removed the mask. I was gobsmacked immediately, while B and Yugito were intrigued. My name is Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, partner to the Kyubi no Kitsune. I come bearing 3 scrolls. An invite to the upcoming Chunin exams in Konoha, a letter from myself to you, Raikage-sama, and I will reveal the 3rd letter after our conversation. B and Yugito joined I in his gobsmacked stated. Kyubi took a mental picture so he could share it was Gyuki and Matatabi later. I recovered and made a movement with his finger, after which Yugito retrieved the scroll and letter. Very well, Naruto Uzumaki. You have my attention, state your reason for being here. Thank you, Raikage-sama. With a small bow he continued, I have come to bury the proverbial hatchet. I am aware that you do not share in some of your father's more questionable ambitions. I wish to bring peace to the elemental nations. I do not wish for Konoha to rule or to subjugate nations under my banner. I have come to be the first step in the long and arduous effort to achieve peace. I read of your battle with my father in his journal. He commended you as a ninja of great speed and talent, but more than that he praised your character. He saw you as a man that valued integrity and courage. I have come in person to deliver these messages to you as a demonstration of my strength, courage and sincerity. Kid, are you telling me that Konoha is seeking a new treaty with Kumo? Also, the rest of your claims are quite bold. So, you appeared as Kitsune as a demonstration of your strength, huh? Naru chuckled and recomposed himself before speaking, no, Raikage-sama. I came as Kitsune so only those in this office would know my identity. I came with Kyubi, he pointed behind him with his thumb, as proof of me strength. I revealed my identity to you as a show of my sincerity, and by doing this I am taking the first leap of faith. I marveled at the boy. Not even a teenager, and he maintained his composure in front of a cage and 2 jinchuriki. He had been looking for a way to de-escalate tensions between Kumo and Konoha. He would need to be sure before he committed to this. I see no reason why Konoha would begin talks after the Hyuga incident. Tell me, boy, what does your Hokage seek to get from Kumo? Naruto laughed at this. You misunderstand, Raikage-sama. The invite to the Chunin exams is the only thing from the Hokage. The rest is from me. Of course, I got Hokage-sama's permission to do this and write to you personally. I found the library of my mother's ancestral clan, and to gain access, I swore an oath to the fallen Uzumaki. An oath I had already made to my partner Kurama over there. A pregnant pause followed the casual use of Kurama's name. Inside B and Yugito, the Biju couldn't believe what they just heard. The sage was the only person Kurama had ever given his name to. Now, this boy knew his name and wielded his power. And Kami, damn it all, how did the boy let Kurama out of his seal? The ranting Biju made both Jinchuriki close their eyes and cut the connections to their Biju. I was curious, his curiosity was eating him alive. What oath could the boy have sworn to gain the Biju's trust? Okay, boy, you have my undivided attention. I wish to hear your oaths, or I may judge it as your Biju has. Naru nodded to the Raikage's request. He brought his heels together, stood up straight, brought his right fist over his heart and exclaimed. I am Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze. I vow to become the Hokage and use that power to bring peace to the elemental nations. I vow to use all my strength to protect that which I hold dear. I vow to earn the respect of my partner, Kurama, to earn the privilege of wielding his power. I will use the totality of my power and influence to create a better world for as many people as I can. I will sacrifice and suffer to be the bridge to peace. I vow to never go back on my word. Until all vows have been met, I will never give up. Naruto said his vows while maintaining eye contact with the Raikage the whole time. I had never been more pleasantly surprised in his life. This young man is unwavering. He could feel Naru's resolve. The brilliant azure blue eyes showed the depth and power of his soul. His face and posture were unshakable. Behind Naru, I noticed Kurama adopting a proud parent look. I's thoughts could really be summarized in one word: unfucking believable. Yes, it's hyphenated, you motherfuckers, so it is one word. I cleared his mind and refocused on the boy. Very well, Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze. I the fourth Raikage of Kumogakure no Sato, hereby receive and acknowledge your vows. Should you break them, the price to me will be your life. I paused here. Now, the biggest question to me is, how do you wish to Kumo fit into your vows? Naru produced the third letter and handed it to I. I propose a political marriage between Kumo and Konoha. As head of the Uzumaki and Namikaze clans, I am assigned the great task of rebuilding both great clans. I am enrolled in the Clan Restoration Act and will take multiple wives. The third letter is to any you wish to give me the honor to court. Naruto paused here because of the ki Yugito was radiating. I do not ask this lightly. I will only marry a woman I love. I will not accept any who are forced to marry me, or those who attempt to marry me for power. I vow to my ancestors that I will treasure any and all women that bestow that honor upon me. If the idea of a political marriage is appealing to you, and you do not wish for me to be the one selected, then the Hokage said you may select another eligible clan heir. I couldn't believe the brass sack on this kid. Saying that he will be the bridge to peace and then requesting a political marriage for himself, that's insane. Or it would be insane for any man that didn't earn I's trust. He believed the boy to be earnest. He couldn't sense any darkness in the boy. That is a most interesting proposal. You got quite the pair on you, kid. I will address this with my council and see if there are any girls that may be interested. How would you court them? At this, Naruto threw a familiar three-pronged kunai to I, hilt first. In his stupor, I nearly dropped the softly thrown kunai. I adopted a serious look and said, "You can use the flying thunder god." A mischievous shrug was his response. The boy looked I in the eye but gave nothing away. I could do nothing but chuckle. Very well, go with B and Yugito. I will talk with my council and get you a response in 2 days. B and Yugito walked with Kitsune and Q through Kumo. They understood his desire to keep his identity hidden. The yellow flash left quite the mark on Kumo's forces after all. They made small talk as they walked through Kumo. B rapping and rhyming in his ridiculously offbeat way. Naru appreciated that though, it was genuine. Q was just laughing his ass off at his brother's container. Yugito and Matatabi had gotten used to B's antics, but even they were embarrassed in front of the boy and Q. Naru could sense an underlying tension between Yugito and himself, but Naruto decided it would be up to her when to confront it. Meanwhile, Matatabi was purring seductively in Yugito's ear telling her to jump Q's bones. Naru was led to a hotel where he would stay overnight. The clone didn't need to sleep, but it did need to conserve chakra. After the Naruto clone fell asleep, Q snuck out of the room and met up with Yugito at a bar. While they were drinking, Q gladly talked to Yugito and Matatabi about Naruto's life. He sounded so much like a doting parent that Yugito couldn't help but find him attractive. What? Dads are sexy. Then, when the drinking took effect, Q asked Yugito about her experiences in Kumo. Her strength of spirit to overcome the discrimination of the village and earn respect inspired Q. The space between the two shrank as the night went on, much to the pleasure of Matatabi. Q walked Yugito back to her apartment, as you would expect from a gentleman-like being of his age and stature. At the door to Yugito's apartment, Q gave Yugito a passionate kiss, which Yugito returned. However, Yugito pulled away and said good night. "Don't you dare walk away from that fucking hunk. Rip his clothes off," roared an extremely turned-on Cat Biju. "He is a stranger, Tabi. A kiss is all he will get from me," replied Yugito with as much self-restraint as she could. As Yugito was unlocking her door, Matatabi flared her chakra and took possession of Yugito's body. Her eyes became a deep aqua blue and her pupils slitted. Her nails elongated and she started breathing heavy in response to Q's aura. Tabi, hereby referring to Yugito's Matatabi-controlled form, ripped her hand away from the door after she unlocked it, turned around and started an intense make-out session with Q. After a few minutes of making out, Tabby walked back to the door with an overly exaggerated and sensual sway to her hips. I have waited centuries to do this, don't let me down, Foxy-kun. She whispered over her shoulder as she opened the door. XXX Lemonish start XXX. You didn't need to tell the great Kurama twice. This ninjan was sweet, like the forbidden nectar. Q was so turned on that he didn't realize that he was essentially making out with his sister, but that's just a minor detail. He eagerly followed Tabby into the apartment. The making out intensified and both Biju were losing themselves in the lust and sensations of the moment. Q threw her on the bed and savagely ripped off Tabby's shirt. Yugito's protests in the back of Tabby's mind didn't register with Tabby, she was lost in lust. His hands roamed her now bare body as he positioned himself between her legs. Q took Tabby's right breast into his mouth and alternated between nibbling and sucking on the perky bud. Tabby's hands roamed through Q's hair as she pushed his head down to her honey pot. Once again, Q couldn't bother with the fabric. The only thing on his mind was the sweet nectar, that was emitting an intoxicating aroma, hidden in a tiny, pink fold of flesh. Q lightly inched a finger in, and his tongue began tickling the bundle of nerves at the top of the slit. The taste was divine as Q could taste Matatabi's chakra flowing into the juices. After a few minutes of ministrations, Tabby was getting close to her first orgasm. As she hit her high point, her nails elongated, and her grip tightened. As she screamed out her pleasure, there was a pop, and a puff of smoke. Tabby roared in a chakra-enhanced voice, fuming mad as Yugito tried to take control of a demoness that had been denied her just desserts. It took Yugito a minute to forcefully take control of her body back and lock the naughty cat back in her mindscape. She let out a deep sigh, torn between being relieved and sorely disappointed. XXX Lemonish End XXX. Meanwhile, back in Konoha, Kurama was resting inside of Naruto's mind. When the 40-story fox got the memories of its clone, it sprung a massive hard-on. Who knew shadow clones could transmit blue balls? Naruto was forcefully awakened from his sleep by a pouting Kyuubi. The massive fox was roaring loudly in his mind, complaining about stupid shadow clones. It wasn't until Naruto woke up in the comfort of his bed that he processed the memories. The teasing he gave the pouting fox only incensed it further. So, Naruto hopped out of bed, jumped out to the training grounds, formed Q with one tail worth of chakra and began an all-out spar. Q apologized after 3 long hours of venting. Naruto was burned, beaten and his clothing shredded by Q's claws and sneaky fox taijutsu style. Back to Kumo, the following morning, Naru was woken up by a pounding on his hotel room door. The clone wiped the cobwebs from its eyes and went to the door. Where the fuck is that perverted fox? Screamed an enraged Yugito. Yugito-san. What are you talking about? What happened to Q? Asked Naru in the most innocent tone. Yugito had almost forgotten that the boy in front of her was only 12. The cute way he asked that question immediately converted her rage into embarrassment. How could she explain what happened to a preteen? Had he even gone through sex ed yet? Naruto-chan, have you seen Q? We were, hanging out, last night and he kind of, popped. All that's left was smoke. Naru's eyes bulged as he put the pieces together. He had to come up with something, quick, or they would find out he is a shadow clone too. Yugito-san, did you perhaps injure Q? The jutsu I used to let him out is quite fragile and takes a lot of chakra. So, I can't exactly let him out again. Can you tell me what happened and why you were mad at him? Asked Naruto in his most innocent tone. He could put 2 and 2 together, but it was so much fun teasing this Kumo Jonin. He. Don't you worry about it, Naruto-chan. Just tell him he owes me next time we see each other. Bumbled out an ultra-embarrassed Yugito. Will do, Yugito-san. I will see you when the rakeage summons me. Have a great day, replied Naru as he closed the door. Once she was gone, Naru burst out laughing. He could only imagine how pissed Kurama was and how much hell he raised with the boss. The next morning, Naru was summoned to the rakeage's office. Kumo had agreed to the marriage of their finest kunoichi Naruto's age, Sumui. Sumui was a buxom blonde, with short shoulder-length hair. She had icy-colored eyes similar to Naruto and she had a long, red-handled katana strapped to her back. Sumui was 13 and was an inch shorter than Naru was. When Naru made eye contact with her, The usually stoic blonde Kunoichi blushed and looked down at the ground. A blush flared on Naru's face as well in response to Simui. He swore that if the boss didn't treat her right, then he would summon himself from the boss's chakra and kick the boss ass. I and Yugito noticed this and were happy to see an initial spark was there. Yugito had brought the proposition to Simui the night before. She delicately worked her way into the subject by telling Simui about the meeting with the Raikage. She couldn't believe that she may end up marrying the Yellow Flash's son. Simui was given the letter to read by Yugito, and this is what made her take the leap. To my chosen one, please know that I write my true feelings into this letter. My name is Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, and I am the son of Kushina Uzumaki and Minato Namikaze. I do not tell you my lineage to entice you nor to intimidate you. I tell you because I never knew my parents and their memory is important to me. I want them to watch me make our world a better place from the pure world. First and foremost, for a potential life partner, I am the host of the Kyuubi no Kitsune. I have befriended him, and he will be with me, hopefully us, for the rest of my life. I have made promises to him that will make the path I walk a difficult one. It is my hope that I may get to know you so that you could join me on my journey. I am a training nut. If you agree to marry me, I will show you the secrets to my training method. Unfortunately, it is one that is probably unique to Jinchuriki, but I would do everything I can to help you improve. I value family and friends above all else. They are the reason I work so hard. I struggle to gain power so that I may protect them and build a better life for them and future generations. I will not tolerate liars, schemers or traitors. I know your loyalty is to your village and I would never seek to change that. My hope is that our union could strengthen the ties between our villages and become a step forward on the path to peace. Now comes the hard part. I am the last known member of 2 historical clans. My mother was the princess of Iwagakure before its fall. When I visited my ancestral home, I vowed to rebuild my clan. I was due to be enrolled in the CRA, but I volunteered for early entry so that I may control my destiny. I will not marry for money, children, jutsu, influence or anything short of love. I know it seems preposterous that a boy you do not know is promising you love. If you cannot tell from this letter, ask Hokage. I know I will make the right impression and they should be able to speak to my character. I write this to you before I meet them, but I am sure my light will reach them. I do not ask for an answer immediately. All I ask is that we may exchange letters and get to know each other. I wish to meet you and spend more time with you at the Chunin exams in Konoha. I want to be your friend first to see if I could be your lover always. With best intentions, Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze. Simui was blown away by the raw emotion and honesty she felt conveyed in the letter. She could tell whoever wrote it meant every single word. She did not know how she felt about the sharing part of it, but she did know that she would give it a try. Hell, most women never get to feel half the love Simui could feel from that letter. When her eyes met the brilliant azure blue orbs, the stars aligned and Simui believed she had found her life partner. That is why for pretty much the first time in her life, Simui blushed and was forced to break eye contact. After a brief conversation with the Raikage, which included an explanation of what happened to Naru's partner, Naru secured the Raikage's reply scroll, donned his kitsune mask and returned to Konoha the old-fashioned way, a whole hell of a lot of running. The clone was running very low on chakra when it approached Konoha during the second night of its travel. It took the Anbu entrance and took the reply scroll to Naruto in his father's study. When Naru dispelled, the backlash rendered our blonde hero unconscious with his head planted firmly in a stack of seals. That will be all for this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment down below for more videos. Goodbye.